This is an incredible time right now to be in the field that I'm in and really see this tangible impact that we're having on medicine, how medicine is practiced, how drugs are identified and developed.
Cancer will likely be the first area that genomics really transforms in terms of genomic medicine. But the victories for other diseases will come.
Treating individual patients generically just doesn't make sense. And if we have the tools and the knowledge, the insights to begin to start treating people based on their individual makeup, individual exposures, and their lifestyle, we can be so much smarter and we can be so much more precise. You talk to the parents of that child with the disorder that no physician seemed to be figuring out what was wrong with that child. And all of a sudden, in a matter of a week or two, they sequence the genome of that child and figure out what's wrong. Even just having the diagnosis is life-changing for those parents. And in some cases, it gives insights on how to treat it. I mean, that's just unimaginable. You talk to that cancer patient who had genomics be used as part of their care and decision-making about the best way to treat that individual's cancer. That's life-changing for people.
We're not sort of leaving behind the rest of medicine or the practice of medicine as we currently understand it. Instead, what we're trying to do, and what I tried to point out in my talk yesterday, is that we're trying to augment or add to that decision-based medicine by adding additional information, additional data, and really tying that together with all of the other things that we already know about in terms of cancer care.
The range of cancers in which we're understanding the value of the DNA sequence is exploding. For me, again, thinking about having grown up with the Human Genome Project, it is incredible to me to see how it's being realized now, how it's put into practical use. And at the same time, to recognize how much work we have yet to do at the most fundamental levels in understanding how our genome is put together. So I'm going to say we should be running at full speed with medical application of the great knowledge that we've accumulated. At the same time, I'm going to say, there are even a lot of nooks and crannies in our genome where we have not even yet ventured.
40 to 50% of children that we offer genome testing to, we give the parents and the physicians a prompt diagnosis. That impact, it really is going to revolutionize pediatric care.
No need for amnio and the associated problems that can crop up in that procedure. This is simply a blood test where your own DNA is being evaluated, but we know that a small percentage of fetal DNA circulates, and so we can compare mom to baby and essentially get at those information in a much more rapid, inexpensive, and less invasive way.
The drugs that are used to treat schizophrenia, for example, have the same molecular mechanisms as drugs that were discovered by accident 50 years ago. That is sad. That is an extreme lack of progress. And I think that with genomics, we will ultimately be able to transform the rate of progress in certain areas of medicine.
It will be harder and harder and harder to leave no fingerprint, right? The DNA fingerprint is now deeper and deeper and deeper. If you have a weapon, for example, who's touched that weapon? It used to be that using the standard STR markers, it's hard to distinguish among more than 2 or 3 or 4 people, right? But with next generation sequencing, you can sequence to very high depth. And so that sort of very digital data that comes from next generation sequencing could yield much deeper insights. Might have human remains, and you're trying to understand who is this individual, who are they related to, do they contain, if it's a crime scene, do they contain samples of both the victim and the perpetrator? It'll be harder to get away with murder.